Ian, Friday the 13th, we spoke about this way back.
We've covered it a couple of times.
When it was first announced, when there was a delay, and then they you know, because they figured, oh, we're going to delay it, we'll put it in a single-player mode. But
and then they also offered additional beta codes to people who had kickstarted it, so their friends could get in on it and check it out. Yeah. So Friday the 13th, the game. I own it. I did not kickstart it. I bought into it knowing that there were
reported issues.
Here's the story: server issues. But I also kind of want to review the game as well. I think I believe it's Gun Media who's making the game. I first want to say that it is a small independent group. I also want to say that unlike the whole No Man's Sky thing, Gun Media did not promise more than what we got.
Sure,
we got what they promised.
There was a lot of people, you know, playing the beta version of this. There was a lot of YouTubers that put up footage, so you saw the gameplay.
They
saw
promised
what the mode was.
A multiplayer game only.
Sure.
And they said that we would maybe get a single player mode. They described it. We got what they said. I think they handled their delays fairly well. And the biggest issue is here's the deal. They got a Friday the 13th license, okay, as an indie company,
which is a big get.
That's a big get. Now it's not
Coleco though, but you know,
it's not like Friday the 13th is the franchise it once was, but it still has a massive cult following and people love it. So, like I said, I'm not trying to play
you're not excusing them, but
I'm trying to lay some groundwork here.
Sure.
Okay. They weren't expecting the influx of people playing this when they released it digitally on the PS4 and the PC.
Yeah, they were basing estimates based upon what the pre-orders and the Kickstarter backers and how many people were playing the beta, and they extrapolated out a certain amount. I think they said like we expected 30,000 people to be playing concurrently, and it was like
75,000.
So more than double their estimate of people, which is a great problem to have. But unfortunately, it broke stuff.
So, this is where I'll start. Okay. So, the game launches, and there are severe server problems. A lot of people can't even get past the beginning screen. They can't even get to the menu because it won't load past. There's this like a login error.
Mm-hmm.
They have fixed that by now. Okay, I haven't encountered this error at all since. However, it still takes forever to find a room. Some days I might wait 30 seconds to find a room, which is great. Some days I might go 4 minutes before saying, fuck this, I'm going to cancel out and try again.
So was some of that based upon where you were when you signed up in terms of like, I think for the notes I saw, depending on what server node your user account was associated with, you could have a much better time than someone else.
That is possible. Another thing is if you party up with friends, you seem to get connected a lot quicker. Because I'm not sure how they're doing it, but when you watch yourself trying to connect, if you're one person, they're trying to find a room to slot you into. But it seems like they're doing it one by one very slowly. If you party up with a bunch of people and try to play, likelihood is they're not going to try to shove 4 people into one room.
Sure.
They're going to give you your own room and let people find you.
Can you also create your own room and just invite people?
Yes, you can create a private match.
And that should be fine in theory.
Yeah, but you need to get the full allotment of counselors in there
to make it even a game.
Yeah. Excuse me. So I've had good times, and I was ready to, like, with finding rooms, and I was ready to say the problems were done. But the other night, it took me 3 minutes to find a room. I got 2 or 3 games in, and then it booted me, and then I couldn't connect again. To their credit, they seem extremely apologetic.
They're very upfront about what was happening.
No, they've been extraordinarily upfront. Unlike a lot of developers, they have been nothing but transparent. They have been trying to explain everything.
Yes, what technical stuff about some of the nodes getting corrupted on the servers,
Right.
having to switch to a new server, and this, why are some users not getting in and others are? They were doing to me a fine job, the best they could do to explain it.
Right.
In my opinion,
So,
having no horse in the race.
I do worry, before I get into my personal experiences with the game, like more in depth, I do worry that if this is not fixed quickly, they could potentially lose a user base for what is, at the start, a very good game. By the way, can I ask you real quick, do we have a topic about games as services coming up after this?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so I think they need to take care of this fairly quickly because they cannot lose their user base.
So the games that you actually come into, they're fun, they're engaging. It's good to have teamwork. Get the walkie-talkie, talk to your team.
Oh yeah,
It's
we're gonna get into that.
It's fun to be Jason.
We're gonna get into that. I actually haven't been Jason yet, but it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
So they need to fix it. However, despite all of the problems they need to fix, which I do have faith in them to fix, if you get into the game, holy fuck, is that game fun as shit. If you can deal with an online only game, and I mean, I think Overwatch has shown that people are getting to the point where there are some games that are created for groups of people.
So this isn't a shallow experience, not something you would get bored after a month or two?
You may, but
There's only 3 different maps, correct?
yes, but I believe they're going to do a Splatoon type drip. This is why I kind of want it to lead into the games as services sort of topic. But so what it is there's 3 campsites. There's Pocono, Crystal Lake, and I can't remember the one that starts with H, I believe. And what the game does is it either pits someone as Jason and starts in Jason's little shack, and then the counselors, which are all at the big house. Okay, the big house. And how the game plays out is there are 7 counselors, and the counselors fend for themselves, but it's best to work as teammates. And on any map, the means for escape are kind of randomly generated. So each map is different.
You have to find items.
Yeah, you can't just memorize a map.
Sure.
So on any given map, there are a number of escape means that may be possible. You can escape via a 4-person car, 2-person car, 2-person boat. You might be able to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be able to just outlive Jason.
Or you can kill him, which is very hard.
Which is very hard, and it requires a very specific set of conditions.
Sure.
Including like a female counselor finding the shack and getting his mom's sweater, and then someone knocking a mask off.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's a lot of fun. You got to do a lot of sneaking around.
And plus, but real quick, and the counselors have different abilities in sort of stealth and power and speed.
And you can earn lots of
Sure.
perks for them so that they're not as visible, or they can run faster, regenerate stealth faster. So basically the game involves a lot of sneaking around, hopping into cabins, creating as little noise as possible, and looking for things like gasoline, batteries,
Weapons.
weapons, maps,
Decoys, like was it firecrackers?
firecrackers, turning up the radio like you would if you were Autograph, the 80s metal band, to create like a huge disturbance.
To throw Jason off your tracks.
To throw Jason off your tracks.
Because he can track you.
He can. Pocket knives you can find, which are really useful, so when he grabs you in a chokehold, you automatically stab him in the neck and you can get away. You can find bear traps and stuff to set for Jason. And as the game progresses, what's interesting is your strategy evolves or devolves depending on who's getting killed, who has what. Communication I've played some games without the mic, and you can still escape, and you can still do well, but the game definitely works better with communication.
Well, the game is cool because it's somewhat realistic that you can't talk to with the other counselors.
Oh, that's the best part.
Unless you get the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't want to cheat and use Discord.
Or you have to be within a certain proximity.
Range. So the game knows that this is like the 80s technology. So if you're across the campsite, I can't just talk to you unless we have a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
So I love that. That is awesome.
It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. And honestly, for an online game, I've met more cool people playing that game because of the way it pits you against
forces
Jason.
you to team up.
Yeah. They may yell at you, or something weird may happen where you in a panic, fortify a door as someone's trying to come in behind you.
Sure.
But, afterwards, no one when you die, you get tossed into a chat lobby where you can watch everyone else as they play, and everyone's just joking around afterwards.
Sure, because there's a lot of it's probably the sort of game where a lot of funny moments happen, near escapes, near deaths.
Let me talk to you about a couple of those.
I want to buy. I'll fucking play with you tonight because I wanted to play it.
Well, you need a PS4. I have it on PS4.
No, get a PC one now.
Oh, I will probably buy it on PC.
I don't have a PS4. Damn it, anyway.
But it's so good. I would buy it again when it works. But so like the other night, my my buddy Alan is playing on my account, and he finds the car keys, and he keeps calling out to people. He's got a walkie-talkie. He's trying to find, because if you get a map, or you can pull it up and you can see what checkpoints are done for certain escape things. Mm-hmm. So he sees the car and he sees the checkpoints, and he's waiting for someone to find gas, and he sees someone finds gas, so he runs to the car. But the people who have found the other things are nowhere near it. And he's like, fuck this, I gotta get out of here. So he just jumps in the car without anyone else, flips on the keys, and drives away. Meanwhile, someone's in the middle of the road acting like an asshole who knocked over Jason, right, with a bat?
Sure.
And decides that they're going to start teabagging Jason. And my buddy Alan's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And just runs over the counselor. Loses me 200 experience points. But manages to beat the game. The other, Tommy Jarvis from the movie, if you find a certain CB radio and you call Tommy Jarvis, someone who's either dead will come back as Tommy Jarvis, or the first person who dies will come back, and he gets one good shotgun shot, which incapacitates Jason for a long time. And I was playing the other night, and the same dude, who was really great, I wish I would have friended him, but there was an error with the list, is following me, trying to protect me as Tommy Jarvis, and Jason grabs him, and I just start flailing my frying pan around, and I'm doing as much damage to Tommy Jarvis as I am to Jason. So it creates a lot of panic. There's a lot of good beats in the game. There's a lot of like scary effects that come up when Jason's using certain special powers. When the game works, it's fantastic. My biggest problems about when the game works is you have to get used to the fact that almost everything is context sensitive, and tapping buttons and holding buttons changes things. So when you're getting used to it, when you're trying to open a window and get through a window, you may open and close that window 5 times before you realize like how to jump through the window. You got to get used to that sort of shit. The other thing is all 3 of the current maps are campgrounds. It's hard for me to determine the difference between them. The fact that they move things around is very cool, but I want to see space. Give me a Jason X. Give me a Jason X map.
Yeah, I think, and hell, they'll probably get a Jason X eventually, right? As a player
probably.
Right now, was there like 5 or 6 different Jasons?
Yeah, give me. There's a lot of Jasons.
There's like
right now.
6, 7, 2, 3, or 4, and then there's a bunch of different powers. I like that part.
And each Jason has different powers.
Yeah, different speeds, different abilities.
Exactly. The counselors, like I said, do.
I'm hoping for this. I'm hoping that this sustains enough.
I hope it gets a Splatoon drip.
Well, it's funny you say Splatoon. I can picture this being eventually different game modes released.
Yes.
Where you can have maybe counselor versus counselors. Maybe it's some sort of weird thing where...
Oh, you can already be a traitor. Like when I ran over that counselor.
Oh, no, sure.
I was called a traitor. You can actually go and kill other counselors as a counselor.
Well, what I'm saying, what if you have a built-in capture the flag mode? You're in the woods, capture the flag.
Why not?
You have weapons, and then maybe one character is Jason or the computer is Jason, and you try to flip his influence on what team to kill. There's easy things they can put in
or even just something simple that I think I mentioned to you, like Last Counselor Standing, no Tyrant, because a viable strategy if you're an asshole.
Just kill everyone else?
No, is to get no, because you won't get experience, but is to get Jason chasing you, and then look at the map where the other counselors are, and run them into a crowd of counselors, and then
just get the hell out.
Book the fuck out, because then Jason will be like, "Well, I've got a bunch of people to fucking kill here, so
I'll just grab whatever.
I'll just grab whatever I can."
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think there's obviously some agreeable anger where it's like, okay, I understand people can't play their game, but to yell at these people that are giving you Ubisoft wouldn't give the level of explanation that they're giving for why the game isn't working, and they're a much smaller company than a AAA publisher.
I just feel like
you gotta bear with them a little bit. Little bit. I'm not saying if they go weeks without improving it, it's okay. I'm saying bear with them a little bit.
I will say this: I feel like that in its current state, with its current problems. And yes, they probably did not expect this. I do believe that. But it feels like an early access game still. I do think the game is worth its $40 when
it's working.
When it's working.
Sure.
I feel like the version that is currently released, that people are putting their money into it because they have faith in it, probably should have been a $20 early access game.
Sure. Get it for PC, because I'll play it with you on PC. I promise.
Okay. I mean, it's fucking... It's fun as fuck.